Tell me where Ruslan is. I'm going after him.
Leonid Osterman, former elite of NGFP, the group that fought for Novoslava's liberation. Sentenced to death for murdering Ruslan, the group's leader, and executed later that year. Official records confirm the death of condemned inmate D105. You. I am unsure how to best classify your existence.
I was falsely accused. Overwrite those damned records. Truth is, I'm still kicking. Classify me however you like.
I will reserve judgment until the present situation has been dealt with. For the moment, you are now under my supervision, D105.
Piece of crap AI.
The Garmonia army is patrolling the perimeter. I advise you acquire a weapon immediately.
If you know where I can find a weapon, hurry up and say so.
There are remnants of a battle fought within a nearby building. It seems the Ruthenian troops barricaded themselves inside, but they were all killed. It is possible you will be able to procure some weapons and ammunition there. Transmitting coordinates to your device. Nearby survivor located. Transmitting coordinates to your device. Caution. The enemy is approaching. Caution. The enemy is approaching. Caution. The enemy is approaching.
What are you doing? Don't you know this place is all sorts of dangerous? You need to hightail it out of here.
I know. That's what I'm gonna do. But first, I have to find my daughter. She never came home after she left for work. I'm not feeling so well. I think I'll be okay if I rest a bit.
Are you hurt? Where?
Yeah, all over. I've had this damn condition for years.
Look, I get that you're worried about your kid, but in the shape you're in, you really ought to evacuate.
I appreciate your concern, but I can't just abandon my daughter. My condition prevents me from working. Without my daughter's support, I'm as good as dead. don't worry about me. I'll evacuate as soon as I find my daughter.
Tell me your daughter's name. If I run into her, I'll tell her you're looking for her.
Thank you. Her name is Veronica.
Got it. Take care of yourself.
Caution. The enemy is approaching. Caution. The enemy is approaching. Nearby survivor located. Transmitting coordinates to your device.
Wait a second. I know that face. You're the one that killed Novoslava's hero. I thought they executed you. Whoa. I've never met a hardened criminal before. Hey, you mind doing me a favor?
What favor is that?
Whatever this place was before, it's totally empty now. The perfect chance, wouldn't you say?
Wait a second. You want me to loot this place?
What's the problem? Whoever owns it is probably dead by now anyway.
And you called me a criminal. With everything else that's going on right now, you really think I'll put my life on the line for a bit of cash?
Times like these make for prime opportunities. Still, I guess I get where you're coming from. Okay, how about this? Find me something worth a pretty penny, and I'll give you something else in return. I'm no good with this sort of thing, but you look like you were born for it. Promise, I'll make it worth your time. Then we got ourselves a deal. Don't bite off more than you can chew and end up getting killed by those Garmonian scumbags.
Caution. The enemy is approaching.
Evening. Such a pretty night, with the city all lit up.
I agree. But you can't stay here gazing at the scenery forever.
You look scared. Did something happen?
Are you blind? The city's overrun with Garmonian soldiers. They'll kill you on sight.
I'm not blind. I'm not deaf either. I can hear the screams. A truly exquisite symphony. It's retribution. We should never have fought to be liberated from them. That's why they're killing everyone now. My son died during the height of that movement. He didn't have any lofty ideals about liberation or anything. He just got swept up in all the excitement.
I'm sorry. What happened?
See the council building over there? He and his friends came up with this scheme to take it over. And I mean scheme in the loosest sense of the word. They didn't think it through. They barely set foot in the place when the cops got there and started shooting. Maybe it was a stray bullet that killed him. Maybe it was a straight shot. I guess I'll never know. Didn't hear about that, did you? It's understandable. There was only the tiniest mention of it in the papers the next morning.
I was one of the ones in charge of the Liberation Group.
Yes, I'm well aware. Seeing you here was quite the surprise.
I'm sorry. You must hate my guts.
Time stopped for me that day. You don't need to apologize. But thank you. Now I've finally found the will to leave this place. Would you mind telling me where that shelter is?
You got it.
Civilian registered as subject of protection. Commencing guidance to shelter. Caution. The enemy is approaching. 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 Civilian subject of protection safely evacuated to shelter. Caution. The enemy is approaching. 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 Caution. The enemy is approaching.
Yo, how's it going? Hold on a sec. Let me see. Hey, this is pretty nice. Well, a deal's a deal. So pick what you want for it. But remember, I don't do returns. Pleasure doing business with you. If you find anything else, come look for me. Yo, how's it going? Hold on a sec. Let me see. Man, what garbage heap did you pull this piece of trash out of? Ugh, what a waste of time. Well, whatever. So pick what you want for it, but remember, I don't do returns. Pleasure doing business with you. If you find anything else, come look for me.
Caution, the enemy is approaching. Caution, the enemy is approaching.
What are you doing? Don't you know this place is all sorts of dangerous? You need to hightail it out of here.
I know. That's what I'm gonna do. But first, I have to find my daughter. She never came home after she left for work. I'm not feeling so well. I think I'll be okay if I rest a bit.
Are you hurt? Where?
Yeah, all over. I've had this damn condition for years.
Look, I get that you're worried about your kid, but in the shape you're in, you really ought to evacuate.
I appreciate your concern, but I can't just abandon my daughter. My condition prevents me from working. Without my daughter's support, I'm as good as dead. Don't worry about me. I'll evacuate as soon as I find my daughter.
Tell me your daughter's name. If I run into her, I'll tell her you're looking for her.
Thank you. Her name is Veronica.
Got it. Take care of yourself.
Caution, the enemy is approaching. Caution, the enemy is approaching. Caution, the enemy is approaching.
Who's there?
Nearby survivor located. Transmitting coordinates to your device. Caution. The enemy is approaching. Caution. The enemy is approaching.
Fire in the hole!
You don't look Garmonian.
That's because I'm not. I've cleaned him out of this area, so it should be safe for the time being. You should get out of here while you still can.
Well, that's a big help. I've been trying to get out on my own for a while, but never could get past those guys. There's gotta be some way I can thank you. Here, have a look at what I've got. If you see anything you need, it's yours. Sorry, but I gotta watch out for number one, too. I'd appreciate it if you only took one thing. Hopefully I'll have something that'll come in handy for you. Are you sure?
This is more than enough, thanks. Now get going.
Okay. Hey, keep yourself alive out there.
Civilian registered as subject of protection. Commencing guidance to shelter. Subject of protection evacuated to shelter. Caution. The enemy is approaching. Caution. The enemy is approaching. Caution, the enemy is approaching. Caution, the enemy is approaching. Caution, close quarters weapon damaged. Caution, the enemy is approaching. Caution, the enemy is approaching. Caution, the enemy is approaching.
Not a single survivor. Damn Garmonians.
Leonid?
Sophie?
How?
You were meeting Ruslan here, weren't you?
Tell me why you killed
Where is he?
Ruslan! Ruslan's alive? After Ruslan died, and you were arrested, the rest of the movement thought...
I know, but he's here. My AI saw him too. I'm not lying. Besides, I think I would have remembered killing him. I was framed! If Ruslan's alive, then I can only imagine I have him to blame for it.
He's really alive.
Yeah, yippee. I've been rotting away inside a prison cell since the day they cuffed me, trying to figure out why. Someone fingered me for his death. I knew that much. But he wasn't dead. He pulled the wool over all of our eyes. He's the one who pinned the guilt on me!
Leo, stop! Just... give me a second to take this all in. You're wrong! I don't think that at all. I just... You were dead too, Leo. They executed you. I don't know what's true and what isn't anymore.
Forget it. I'm going after Ruslan.
Wait! You were Ruslan's right-hand man. Losing both of you at the same time? How do you think that felt? How are we supposed to keep fighting? We may have accomplished what we set out to do, but then the group collapsed, tearing itself apart from the inside. What were we supposed to do? We were all just... The friends you knew are all gone. Wait! I promise it's not another sob story. There's something I want to show you. It's about Ruslan. You wouldn't believe me if I told you, so I want you to see it for yourself. Meet me at that bar we used to go to all the time. Maybe then you'll find the truth.
I need to go east. Find me a way out of here.
Nearly everything east of here is under Garmonian control. I do not advise going that way.
I don't care. Just do it.
Understood, D-105. Transmitting point of egress to your device. Caution. The enemy is approaching. 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 Caution. The enemy seems to be approaching. Caution. The enemy seems to be approaching. Caution. The enemy is approaching. Nearby survivor located. Transmitting coordinates to your device. Caution. The enemy is approaching. Caution. The enemy is approaching.
Are you a Ruthenian soldier?
Nope.
Yes, thank you. That's so kind of you. I need to ask you a favor if it's not too much.
What favor?
It's my husband. He died protecting me. If no one's taken it, he should still be wearing his wedding ring. I don't want to leave without it, so I was wondering, would you go find it for me? Thank you. You really are kind.
Caution. The enemy is approaching.
You mean to tell me finding a single child that escapes you? She is to be captured on sight! Do you understand? Do not kill her! What are they chasing down a kid for?
Collecting footage of the area. Located the person in question. Match found. Yulia Smirnova, 9 years old, an orphan from a foster facility called Like Family. She is quite skilled at moving between the camera's blind spots. I cannot determine her exact location.
Why are they so desperate to get their hands on a foster kid? She's not my responsibility, but I can't just leave her to the sharks. I better clear them out of this part of town.
Caution. The enemy is approaching. Caution. The enemy is approaching.
Grenade!
Caution. The enemy is approaching. Caution. The enemy is approaching.
Enemy spotted!
There is no sign of the child in this area. She must have gone elsewhere.
I don't got all day, it's now or never.
Caution. Body armor damage worsening. Caution. The enemy...
She only mentioned the ring. But what's this in his pocket?
Caution. The enemy is approaching.
You came back. Did you find it? Did you read it? You didn't? You really are about as nice gets. Thank you. Now that I have this, I think I'm ready to leave. Will you take me to the shelter?
Civilian registered as subject of protection. Commencing... Caution. The enemy... Caution. The enemy is approaching. 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 Caution. The enemy is... Caution. Close quarters weapon damage worsening. Caution. The enemy is approaching. 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 Enemy troop deployments have changed. Transmitting information to your device. Caution, the enemy is approaching.
Enemy spotted!
Caution, the enemy is approaching. Caution, the enemy is approaching.
There!
Now.
Enemy troop deployments have changed. Transmitting information to your device. Warning. There are multiple enemies in the vicinity. The enemy is on high alert. The civilian is under attack. Go to the rescue. Warning. Body armor failure. Please take care when under fire. Subject of protection evacuated to shelter. Koshka to D-105. There are a considerable amount of enemy troops ahead. I do not advise forcing your way through.
Hey, is this thing waterproof?
The device can be submerged up to 10 meters for 20 minutes.
Perfect. Then I'm proceeding as planned.
Someone cover me!
But my swimsuit!
Costa to C105. Your device is taking on water. The exterior has been completely damaged.